This is episode 141 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guests, Jeremy Beland and Dan Toback of REI Freedom, and also multiple home buying companies. These guys have successfully closed more than 400 off-market properties since 2017. They are entrepreneurs, coaches, and the business owners who are finding houses everywhere. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us on the show. I'm happy to be here today.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'm ready to get into some dirt of wholesaling and house acquisition.
Let's do it.
For both of you separately, when was the first time that you were interested in real estate, though?
Glenn, let's go start with you, my friend.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It brings me all the way back to the end of college. So at the end of college, I got a 4-year business degree from a small little university here in Florida. And to be honest, I was completely clueless into what I was wanting to do. I had just a general business degree. I just wanted to get a job job and have something at a very young age. So I went out to Colorado at the time, which I love Colorado. It's a beautiful place, but I quickly found out with only a couple of months into my employment that the regular 9 to 5 wasn't for me. And my brother, Todd Toback, which probably some of the listeners might be familiar with his name, he invited me out to Collective Genius, ran by Jason Medley at the time.
Yeah.
Still is. I don't know if he has a partner or whatnot, but at that time it was Jason Medley. And I got to meet some awesome people there. Sean Terry, Cody Sperber, Ken Corsini, Billy Alvaro. So there was quite a few people out there that were awesome. So many others as well. So after that, I knew I wanted to do something else. I knew that I wanted to take a step out of the regular 9 to 5. I just didn't know how to do it. So I started doing bandit signs and some small low-level marketing in Colorado. I also started calling my brother Todd's list out in California, made a couple of dollars that way. But then my big break came about a year and a half later. My brother, Tom Kroll, was starting PSL Homebuyers in Florida, which was, at the time my home. So I wanted to go back home. He was doing a few deals. So asked if I wanted to come out there to be his acquisition specialist, which I did. So I flew out to Florida and, I've been here ever since, over a decade now in business. And the big thing that I remember starting out was, I didn't close deals immediately. I wasn't naturally a salesperson. I didn't come from a sales background. I came from working in a bread baking business, supply chain distribution, and I had no sales experience whatsoever. And I always tell friends this: if I can do it, you can do it. If you're looking to get out of the 9 to 5, you can absolutely do this business, because I struggled. I came from a non-background, anything associated with that, and made it work.
Do you think for both of you, that was really it? You're just focused on doing it. Like you said, Dan, you're just sticking with single families. Like that's your jam. I think that a lot of people look at all the shiny objects out there and they're like, oh, well, let me get a little self-storage and do a little bit industrial. And then they stray from their path of what they're good at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's where, what I've learned, probably my biggest learning point of the last decade has been focus, having a singular focus. And I think that anytime where I've maybe, we've looked at other markets, for example, and try to close deal in other markets, or, we try to get into like subject to, we try to get into creative financing. I've always seen a drop, to your point, Jonathan, in the bread and butter of our business, because when we're not focused, when you're meeting with the seller and you have all these different exit strategies that you're trying to communicate, that comes off very confusing to the seller too. So I'm a very relational side, brand building side. When you're able to go into a relationship, or when you're going into that rapport building process with the seller that you meet in person, having that singular focus of, hey, this is how I can help you. Is this a fit or is this not a fit? That's going to be a much more powerful position versus, hey, this is a buffet of things to help. It almost is overbearing to the seller. So anytime we've done that, we've tried before, years ago, we tried basically a multiple choice type of thing where we sent out like 3 different types of options. It just didn't work for us, at least. And I think going in with a very laser focus or specific brand on what you do, it's huge.
You say you've been in Florida for the 10 years. If you guys are sticking around, do you feel like building that local portal has what helped you stay consistent in your markets?
Yeah, I would definitely say for sure. And we're very passionate about that as well. And Metro is definitely not trendy. And I would say very few people are very successful at it, but it's not just going to get on the phones and grind, but it's not really sustainable. It's high cancellation rate. It's expensive. It's hard. And it's not really fun. Like you're just sitting on a phone all day. You might as well be sitting on a phone on a cubicle somewhere. It's basically the thing. But yeah, we love the home buying stuff. As far as being the local brand, Dan has obviously perfected it. Back in the day when I was starting my business, I was milling a lot of Dan was doing, and I really was milling my New Hampshire home buyers, which I live up here originally. We started in 2017. Watching Dan from social media, a lot of the stuff that he's done, I've implemented into our business, and as a result, we've become the brand in here in New Hampshire, Mass. We are the leader of home buying businesses, and we have like over 100 testimonials and Google reviews because over those years, we have become that local people, that local house buying company that everybody knows. And all the competition knows about us. It's really because we're just regular people. And this is going to sound really like pompous, but like sometimes people are like, oh, New Hampshire home buyers are doing something different. We must follow suit. I'm like, what? Well, just us. That's because they see all of our success over the years. And sometimes we don't realize that because we're just still singularly focused on what we need to do,
Dan, are you able to leverage that being in Florida for this last decade? Just knowing like, hey, we have 7 deals within like a quarter mile of here. That gives you instant credibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to call that landmarking, right? And when I'm on the phone with sellers, I feel like almost every conversation I reference other deals that we did in the area. And when I'm real lucky, I could actually reference specific people that they might know.
Yeah.
Because, the Treasure Coast, Port St. Lucie, it's not like being in, I shouldn't even say it's like being in like Boston because there's people that you can have that know each other there too. But it's a small enough area where you can build that 6 spheres of, every 6 person knows each other thing. But, I reference a lot of people that way and build a lot of rapport that way too. Like, oh, I helped the guy down the street. He worked for this place. Oh, I worked for that place for a year too. I know him. And it does help instant credibility, like you said. And being able to give the sellers a sense of comfort, knowing they're dealing with another local, not just a big company without names behind it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just going to say, I didn't draft, but yeah, for sure. I feel this has been feeling over many years of why we have such consistent success in both markets. Him in Florida, me in New Hampshire, is because landing ourselves as that local home buyer and building rapport and land marketing, as he says. That's not with our students and our coaching program. This is what we teach them. Like, guys, you got to brand yourself as a local home buyer. So when you go into these appointments, they're going to know that, like you said, I flipped 7 houses down the street and I'm landmarking. And then I know this person. I went to school here. I met somebody from this church. That stuff matters when somebody's desperate and, in a situation of distress. They want to know, can this person actually come through? And I actually like this person because I can relate to them.